Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name's Ben, and today we've reached the final part of my wedding day photography blueprint series. It's been a full journey. We've covered everything from bridal prep in part 1 to the ceremony, the group shots, couples portraits, and the wedding reception and speeches in the last episode. And now we're finishing things off with what is often the most fun part of the day, the evening reception, the first dance, and the party. In this video, I'm going to show you how to capture everything from that first dance to the crazy party moments that follow. And we're going to throw in how to capture some of those little candid shots along the way that really help tell the story and make your gallery complete. We're going to break this down into sections, from how to deal with low light, the flash gear that you're going to need, camera settings, and my shooting techniques for those little candid moments and the big dance floor energy shots. If you haven't already seen the earlier parts of this series, I definitely recommend going back and checking them out. I'll make sure that I leave the links in the description below so that you can catch up after this video. And whilst you're there, why not consider subscribing to the channel so that you don't miss any of my future wedding photography tutorial videos and gear reviews. Oh, and one more thing, of course I couldn't leave you hanging. I've created you one final cheat sheet to go along with this episode in the series. This will cover all of my tips, tricks, and the all-important camera settings, and is available for you to download now in the description below. Okay, let's get into this. So by this point of the day, the mood has definitely shifted. The formalities are done, people are relaxed, the drinks are flowing, and it's definitely time to party. But there's a big challenge here. The evening reception is almost always in very low light. Sometimes it can be just candles, fairy lights, or maybe the odd DJ light thrown in there for good measure. Now yes, you can crank up your ISO on your cameras, and to be fair, most modern cameras do a really good job of handling this. But if you push it too far, your images can become soft, noisy, and honestly not that good. So this is where your flash becomes your best friend. So whether it's on-camera flash for those candid moments or a full off-camera flash setup for the dancing, this is the part of the day where you really need to know how your flash and your flash system works. Because once you've mastered flash, it really transforms your evening photography. Sharp, clean and vibrant shots that still look natural. And don't worry if flash feels intimidating right now. We're going to go through it step by step in this video so that you become a lot more comfortable with what you need to do. So let's quickly go over the basic flash kit that you're going to need for your wedding receptions. For on-camera flash, you're going to want a reliable speed light that has both TTL and manual modes. Personally, I use the Godox V1S for Sony. I know there's a newer version out of this flash, but mine is still working absolutely fine, and as yet I've seen no need to upgrade. I'll link them down below in case you want to check them out. For your off-camera flash setup, you're going to need at least 2 off-camera flashes, but preferably, if your budget allows, go for 4. You're also going to need some wireless triggers and some light stands to sit them on. Don't overcomplicate it. You can start with just 1 or 2 flashes and build up from there. I've actually done a full video breaking down my full flash photography setup, and I'll link that up here and in the description down below so that you can check it out after this video. But for now, just remember this. Use your on-camera flash for your simple, candid shots around the wedding reception, and your off-camera flash for your drama and your control. So one of my favourite parts of the evening reception is capturing those candid moments. Guests laughing, chatting, and just generally enjoying themselves. For this, I'll stick to on-camera flash. It's quick and reliable and perfect for moving around the room, capturing every single angle you can. So my basic, simple go-to setup for these candid shots is to just use TTL mode. Let your flash decide how much light it needs based on the available light in the room. Try your best to bounce it off of either a ceiling or a wall, but if you have to fire it directly at your subject, make sure that you're using some sort of diffuser to spread and soften the light. If you do want to use your flash in manual, I tend to find that 1/64th power is about the perfect place to start for an evening reception. You can then move your settings up or down from there depending on the look that you're going for. For my camera settings here, I usually have my shutter speed at around 1/200th of a second, my aperture at f2.8 or lower depending on the lens, and my ISO I'll start around 1600. I find that to be the sweet spot for most evening receptions. But that being said, I will just adjust the ISO dependent on the available ambient light. It's best to keep your flash power as low as possible so that you're not blinding people or creating any harsh shadows in the background. The key here is to be discreet. Anticipate the moments and try to get natural expressions rather than staged ones, because they are much better storytelling images. So the first dance is an absolutely huge moment and massive part of the day, and you have to nail it first time. Sometimes you'll also get a father and daughter dance before the main couple's dance, so make sure that you're ready for both, because that's a really nice set of images to capture. I find that the best way to shoot a first dance is with an off-camera 4-flash setup. What I like to do is put one flash in every corner of the dance floor and set them all to around equal power. That way, no matter which direction the couple turns, you've got even flattering light on them and no awkward shadows. So I usually set my flashes all to around 1/64th power in manual mode with a wide zoom on them. This is just so that the light spreads evenly across the dance floor. As for my camera settings, I'll go with 1/200th of a second for my shutter speed. I'll tend to keep my aperture around f2.8 just because there's going to be more than one person in the frame and it's high enough to keep both of them sharp. My ISO, again, I'll start around 1600 and I'll adjust that depending on what available light is in the room and how I want the pictures to look. But the other two settings of the aperture and the shutter speed remain pretty much constant through all of my dance floor pictures. The key here is to capture both wide shots for the atmosphere and tight close-ups of the couple to show their connection and any emotions that come through. Now for my favourite bit, the dance floor party. I'll keep the same 4-light setup as I used for the first dance, but now I like to get right in the middle of the dance floor amongst all of the action. I usually shoot this with my 24mm lens and keep the aperture set to around f2. I find this setting to be perfect to get the balance between light and sharpness. Try to add variety in these shots. I will shoot some frames from high angles, some from lower angles, and I also like to try and throw in a couple of slow shutter speed shots just to mix it up a little bit. For my slow shutter speed shots, I tend to drop the shutter to between 1/20th and 1/30th of a second. I'll still keep my aperture around f2 and I'll adjust my ISO to suit the lighting conditions, making sure that the flash is still firing to freeze the subject whilst you get the background nice and blurry with some dancing lights. It really does show the energy of the dance floor. The main tip I can give you here is don't be shy. Get stuck in with the guests. Dance with them if you have to and capture the fun and energy from their perspective. So that's a wrap. And not just for this video, but for the entire Wedding Day Photography Blueprint series. Today we've covered how to capture the evening reception, from the candid images to the first dance and the all-important dance floor energy. If you've missed any of the other episodes from the series, please make sure you go back and check them out. They're full of useful tips and camera settings, and they're available linked in the description below. And whilst you're there, I've also linked the flash gear and camera gear that I personally use at every single wedding I shoot. Just for full clarity, those are affiliate links, which means if you do decide to buy through them, I may earn a small commission, but it won't cost you any more. If you've enjoyed this series, please hit the like button for that YouTube algorithm. And if you could subscribe so that you don't miss any of my future wedding photography tip videos or gear reviews, that would be amazing. And why not leave me a comment? What topic would you like me to cover next? I'm really keen to hear your thoughts so that I can put some videos together that will benefit you. Thanks so much for sticking with me through this series. I hope you find it useful, and I will see you all in the next one.